Alright, I got a pretty nasty Toyota Corolla right here. It's a 2010 newer car. It's, I would say, decently maintained. And I've got my Anywhere wash bucket. So what I've done is, this bucket comes with 10 of these all-purpose 300-gram towels. I put 8 towels in the bucket. There's one black towel in the bucket that comes with the kit. It's in the bottom. I kept 2 aside so that I could do my final buff. I like to have 2 towels for that. If I don't use 2 and only use 1, the other one will be just a final wipe for the wheels. So anyway, the way you do this is you get a gallon of distilled water from the grocery store. The distilled water is cleaner than tap water. It doesn't have all the minerals and junk that's in it. That could possibly counteract the polymers in the Infinite Use Detail Juice Concentrate. And the cool thing about my Infinite Use Detail Juice Concentrate is that it will keep your car cleaner longer. These buckets are awesome for people who live in apartment complexes or high rises or whatever the case may be, where you just don't have water available, and maybe you just don't have the space either, or even the shade. Unfortunately, a lot of the times my clients that live in apartment complexes and stuff, they want to wash their car, they don't have a lot of space, they don't have shade, and they sure don't have access to water. So this is something that I've designed for you people who just don't have access to water or want to save water over a traditional wash method. So you take the Detail Juice Concentrate right here, and I would do a guesstimate of 1/4 of an ounce. Just pour a little bit in there. Doesn't take much at all. You should be able to get 16 washes out of 1 4-ounce bottle if you're not using the concentrate as a tire dressing, which you can, and I'll show you that, or diluting it as the ready-to-use product. So you put a little bit of the concentrate, roughly 1/4 of an ounce, inside the distilled water. Shake it up, and this is where it gets cool. This one bucket's all you're going to need. So since you've got your solution all mixed up, you're going to soak all these towels just like this. Try to get the solution in the bucket. Now you're not going to, this bucket's not going to hold this whole gallon with all of the microfibers in it. So the cool thing about that is you're going to be able to use what's left to rinse the wheel towel out between doing your wheels later on in the wash. I like to do the wheels last. So you put about that much in there. You've got some of the water is still left, solution I should say. And so now you're ready to start the wash. This Corolla is pretty dirty. It's just been through a few rains. It's not really bad. It just well, it's pretty dirty. That's about borderline on a traditional wash versus this method. We're gonna go ahead and do it because I would assume that most people who are in the situation that don't have the amenities to be able to do a traditional wash are gonna wash it this way anyway. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna establish a drying towel. You take one of the damp microfibers, and that's going to be your drying towel. Now microfiber towels absorb more when they're damp. So we're going to go ahead and fold that into 4s. I like to stick it in my pocket, clean pockets. And then you're going to take one of the clean towels, one of the dry towels I should say, and that's going to be your final buffing towel to buff to a high shine. So with this bucket, it's all ready to go. So you take your Infinite Use Detail Juice ready to use spray bottle that comes with the bucket kit, and you're going to spray down an entire panel at a time. It's a little windy today. So you just soak down a panel This is going to break down the dirt and grime. It's going to encapsulate all those dirt and dust particles that are on the surface and break them down so that you can come right in with the next portion, which is you pull a soaked towel out of the bucket, and you're not pushing into the paint. You're going to start from top down and allow all that solution to do its job. Now, there's different techniques, and you need to figure out which works best for you. Now, if you take the towel and you do one swipe, and it leaves a line of dirt, you could move your hand back and do another swipe and continue to move back if you want to, and that's going to keep the dirt from accumulating in one spot, and it'll keep you from rubbing dirt into the paint. Now, I do one panel with one towel generally, so you'll go through more towels that way, but that's all right. I'd rather go through towels than scratch my paint. And then on the bottom, you just want to use, I mean, this towel is about to get discarded anyway. It's all gross. So now what I'll do is I'll just flip it to the other side and get the mirror real quick. Give that a gentle rub, make sure there's no bugs or anything on that. And then that gets wrung out and discarded. When I say discarded, it's discarded from this particular wash. You're going to wash these and reuse them. They're going to go back in the bucket when you're done. So I'll put that to the side. Then I'll take out my drying towel and I'll dry the entire section that I just did. I like to, when I dry off the window, I like to take my final buffing towel and get that looking nice too. So I'll dry off the whole panel. Now it's all nice and clean. From top to bottom you dry. And then you just buff off the remaining residue to a high shine. Look at that. That's beautiful. And my Infinite Use Detail Juice concentrate, or the diluted version, whatever, when you use it, it actually is leaving behind polymers that are good quality protection. You literally could wash your car with this stuff every week and never need to wax the car again, ever. I know that sounds funny, but the clear coat is protection for the paint. There's no real need to have a ton of extra stuff on the paint. It's always nice to have smooth, slick paint, and that's what my Infinite Use Detail Juice does for the paint. It leaves behind a nice slickness that, in my opinion, is unmatched by any other product out on the market. But you can see how beautiful that paint looks. Let me get you up close and personal right now. See what we had in the beginning? All that nasty dirt and grime. Now look at that smooth, nice, reflecting paint right there. That's clean right there. So that's clean right there. That's what you want. You want nice, clean paint. It's important. You're gonna spend money on a car, you need to maintain it properly, and the Garry Dean wash method will do that for you. Especially if you don't have access to a water hose and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed with the rest of the car, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how I do wheels with this system. So stay tuned. All right, I got the whole car washed. You can see the nice reflections, good shine she's got on her. She's good and washed and protected. So now I'm going to address these nasty wheels. Now, with this wash bucket, it's a maintenance bucket. It's designed, it's put together so that you can maintain your car, but if your car is gross to begin with, you might want to think about having it detailed properly before you get into using this bucket system regularly. You want to make sure it's free of contaminants, well, you know, properly maintained before you start this, so that you have an easier time removing all the soil from the car and from the wheels.